Twitter. Twitter's worth chatting about. There are 3 online social networks I'll talk about today. The big 3 that matter for the B2B space are Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I don't think that MySpace is being used really in the professional services world, so I'm not going to discuss that here. There are a number of smaller social networks as well, and they may make sense for your space. It just depends. Twitter, 10 billion tweets reported this morning. That is not an insignificant number. It is huge. There are a lot of people engaged on Twitter. Likewise, there's been a lot of news stories about the death of Twitter. I can tell you it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's got a huge engagement, and businesses are using this in B2B applications. So what is it? Twitter it's just a microblog. It's just a tiny blog. It basically limits your post to 140 characters, which is the same length as a text message, which is why you can enable Twitter to be used on a cell phone. So knowing that someone's at the grocery store is not so interesting. But knowing that there's a post on the number of Twitter feeds, actually, out there that has reached 10 billion, that's interesting. What to tweet? You want to tweet relevant professional content. So information about industry events, industry articles, awards, etc. Your blog, for example, can be automatically set up to feed your Twitter account. So there's a great way with one little snippet of code that you can provide information on a massive social media network that helps your natural search rankings based on the content you've already created. So it's about leveraging that content you've already done. You want to tweet about what's relevant to the business, not your personal status, and knowing that you're at the corner Starbucks is not so helpful. A general rule of thumb on Twitter, and this is something you may not know, 70 to 80% of all of the posts or the tweets that you put up there should be what they call retweets, or in other words, forwarding information that someone else has put out there. So for example, if you read a story on the latest information on advertising for firms based in Florida, and someone's got an article with a link to it, you can just hit retweet. With a single button, you've sent that information along. So all you're doing is sharing an interesting post that somebody else had put out there. Again, super easy, not a giant time suck at all. Your Twitter background, you can see this is our Twitter page, and actually we don't employ this practice. I'm in the process of switching it over. The Twitter page background should list all of the ways people can reach you. It should list already on Twitter you have a website, you have a link to your website, so ours does that. But you can also put a call-out box there where people can see your email address, a phone number, your blog address, your Twitter handle, a link to your LinkedIn page or your Facebook profile, what have you. Any number, what rules in digital is making sure that people can reach you in the way that they want to. You don't get to choose which path they take. All you can do is try and set up yourself so that you're along the path that they choose to take. How do you, Twitter and followers? Followers are important in Twitter. Those are the number of people who choose basically to follow your feeds. This is a great way if you have a firm. You follow your employees and they can follow you. That's a great way to build up your following. You follow people who you think are interesting. So for example, I follow Mashable, I follow Bill Gates, I follow the Wall Street Journal Law Blog. There are a lot of different properties out there with really good information that provide news that I read anyway, and I just get them through this feed as well. And I still get them through my email. It's just a question of which one I choose to read. Who you follow demonstrates your interests. And likewise, you can find great people to follow by looking at who they follow. Who you follow is kind of like a blog roll. It kind of shows what other sites that you think are cool that other people might be interested in. And that's what you see there in the bottom right-hand corner. You see following, you see the little thumbnails of all the different folks that we follow. Have you fed your Twitter today? Updating your Twitter status happens every time you send a tweet or a retweet, and that helps your Google ranking. Recency is huge for the Google search algorithm. So you want to tweet at least once a week. If you set up your blog to feed your Twitter account, if you set up your LinkedIn page to feed your Twitter account, and vice versa, it'll be updated automatically, and you don't even have to think about it. LinkedIn. LinkedIn, every company should have a page on LinkedIn. This, for example, is our page on LinkedIn. You should, I don't know of any professionals who don't use LinkedIn. It's simply, I think everyone on the call would be pretty familiar with it. It's simply a way to post your resume online. It just makes everything on it clickable. It's a wonderful way to set up a group for alumni, which likewise is a great way to track where your folks are and really helps with prospecting and for lead management. You can set up your blog and your Twitter feed to post to your LinkedIn status. So what's happened, news, you can see here on our bottom right-hand column it says news, and it shows our blog feed. So that information is updated right away. LinkedIn also matters in search engine rankings. It helps a lot. Part of what makes LinkedIn and Twitter so important for the Google search rankings is that there are so many users using it. So it's like that giant high school cafeteria issue, the most popular kids. So these are the popular kids. You want to link to your site, your blog, your Twitter feed, and your Facebook profile on this LinkedIn page. And also you have an ability to join groups. So joining relevant industry groups and associations helps you to build out your following and, sorry, not your following, just to build your presence on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really just about a web, if you will. And the larger that web is, the more folks you have, the more people you can connect to with it. Facebook. Facebook may or may not be right for your industry. We just had, there was just recently a lot of blog posts and news stories about law firms using Facebook in droves. You can and probably should create a Facebook page. It should be branded. And actually, recently, Facebook allowed for custom URLs, which means, for example, our URL on Facebook is www.facebook.com/GreenfieldBelzer. Which is great. It used to be an unfriendly URL, which didn't help anything. Series of letters and characters that were impossible to remember. Again, with your Facebook page, you want to link to your site, your blog, your Twitter feed, and your LinkedIn page. And I hope that you're sensing a theme here. Digital channels and networks are interlinked, and it is so easy to post content that you've created in one place to be published to all of them. It happens automatically. On Facebook, for example, you can just go on, you can download an application that automatically posts your feed to it. So it's really, really simple. And your feed, the information on Facebook goes to what's called a wall. So you can see our Greenfield Belzer wall right here. The wall is just Facebook's way of saying status. Why they don't say status, I don't know, but that's what it means. You can encourage your employees and your alumni to join your page. And you can also follow other relevant business pages by listing them as favorites. So a page is not the same as a profile. I can spend a whole seminar on Facebook, but a page is the correct application for a business to use. So I want to end on this note because I feel like I've opened up a fire hose, and I want to make sure that I've left time for questions, and I believe we have quite a few. So we're going to go ahead and take them. I'm going to encourage you to send any questions that you have. Here is our website, my email address, and all of our various social networks.